Good luck, buddy.
Thanks, Sean. Hey there. Oh, thanks.
I know, I'm like, no bad. No.
Hello? Sure. Yep, stop over.
Test.
Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, sorry about that, folks. We are back on the air. My name is Logan, and we are at the D1 Boys Varsity Provincials watching the number 2 seeded Millwood Knights versus number 7 seeded Riverview Ravens. It's currently 3-7 for score, or 3-4 for the score for the Millwood Knights.
Testing. 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 Test. Test. Can you hear me?
I can't hear you, but I can leave one like this so we can hear each other.
Okay. Going to see if am I coming over? Okay. Coach Bev Greenlaw here to work with Logan in this 2 versus 7 matchup. Starting out, both teams feeling each other out a little bit. These two teams have met once so far this season, Logan, and in that one, Millwood escaped with a fairly 25-point margin, 92-67 as I recall. But this is the Provincials. So
this is Provincials, and since that game, it has changed greatly for the Ravens. The Ravens proceeded only to lose two more games, one in playoffs and one in the Coal Bowl to the Beck Bears after their Millwood matchup. They have been a different team since the break, mainly since play of number 2 Nathaniel Robinson. He started off a little bit shaky to begin the year, but has been consistent 10 points for them. And it has made a lot of a difference for them. Just right there, he hits a nice mid-range jumper for 2.
And I think they captured the bronze in the Coal Bowl, did they not?
They did capture the bronze, only losing to a Ontario Epi Oak team, which plays in a private school league, and the Beck Bears, who they went back and forth with all year long. Darling's jumper just off the mark. McCormick tries to triple, just off the mark.
And Fabian Colley assisting on that one to Ben Dale. Those two are kind of the key offensive players for Millwood. And you'll notice that both number 4, Darling, and number 10, Aaron Forrest, are left-handed. They'll both take the three. They're both pretty athletic and get to the hoop. Number 7, Tyler Mulval, is in now. I think Reese Oliver started. And Tyler can also hit the three. So far, Millwood in man-to-man, and both teams man-to-man, so we'll see how this unfolds.
Yeah.
And you're much more familiar with Riverview than I am, although I have got some information about them.
Yeah, no, I try and pride myself in my research. No, Millwood, probably one of the better shooting team in the province, and Millwood and Fabian really have a great pick-and-roll connection, Fabian being a great finisher at the rim and rim protector, while Ben Dale is probably one of the better seniors in the province this year, and actually was a all-star at the Canada Nationals last June. So I would expect him to be a big factor in this game.
Yeah, Dale is the key initiator, just as your number 9 kid, Patty, is for Riverview. Dale is the guy who starts most everything offensively for Millwood. Defensively, Colley is kind of the key. They'll show at some points both a half and full court diamond press. He's the second point on that diamond, 1-2-1-1. He's the second one, and his reads and his agility and athleticism with his length make their pressure work when they run it. They'll also go into a what I call a jug zone. They'll show 3-2 with Colley at the top, and then as the ball goes, he goes. So he'll sync with the ball, so it becomes more like a 2-1-2 when the ball gets below the free throw line. So we can look to see if they pull that out at some point as well.
I'll be curious to see that. They're not starting off the game with it, but I'm assuming if this game stays close, then they'll have to bust that out to try something different. But no, as you spoke of him, number 9, Patty, is a grade 10 phenom back where we are. Only being a second year, he was like their 6th man last year, starting as a sophomore, and just an incredible finisher, solid passer, and just an absolute pest on defense. He will hound Ben Dale all game long if he has to.
Yeah, I know that the coaches are very high on Patty. And again, the fact that he's was a key kid as a freshman, legitimate freshman, grade 9, and now is a grade 10 kid as their starting point guard speaks volumes in itself.
It does. McCormick moves it on the spin move. Ravens get something to fall.
Yeah.
One place the Ravens will have to own today is the boards. Ravens probably have one of the bigger teams in Provincial, with Roy McCormick, number 4, standing around 6'6", and then number 3, Luke Timmons, and number 2, Nathaniel Robinson, both standing around 6'3" to 6'4". They're going to need to own the boards defensively and can't give Millwood second chance opportunities.
And there's Dale knocking down a 3. Yeah, one of the things that did jump out at me was their height, and the coaches tell me that it's athletic height. It's not just height.
Yeah. Fouls on Millwood's number 1, Ben Dale. That is the first team foul for the Knights.
Did you notice who the foul was on for Riverview?
I did not notice who that was on.
Okay, we'll see if we can get that later. Okay, a little mix-up of this table. I think Millwood is trying to sub in Jaquin Flint. He's a senior, number 8.
Yeah.
Millwood,
have his jersey
Millwood will go reasonably deep, Logan.
Yeah. Gotta get a shot off.
Nice.
McCormick makes it at the buzzer. He's been a great scorer. He had a solid grade 10 or grade 11 year last year, being one of the team captains, and this year completely stepped it up another level after playing on the BNS team for the 17U and also playing on that 16U YC national teams that made headlines this summer.
And he is, I believe, the leading scorer for Riverview. Yes.
He is the leading scorer.
And one of the leading rebounders as well.
He probably is for both, to be honest. But what makes Rory unique compared to other players is not necessarily that he can score and that he is very good at rebounding. It's his length. This kid is not someone that you put in the post to bang. He is a stretch player, consistently hitting somewhere between 2 and up to 4 threes a game for the Ravens. So the Millwood Knights will have to respect his shot.
Around the rim and out for Dale. Good transition, but Patty got a little too deep and a little bit out of control there. These are the kind of things at Provincials, when you haven't seen each other a lot, it takes a little while for players to feel out what can I get away with against this particular level of competition, right? For each of the teams, they're going to have to figure out because they haven't seen each other other than that one time, and that was a while ago, as you said.
No, they haven't seen each other in a while. It will take a minute for them to figure each other out, as the Millwood Knights have had a great continued season, but the Ravens have picked it up, as I said, another level. So I'm expecting this to be a much better game than it was last time, where the Millwood Knights won by a pretty large margin.
And certainly so far it has signs of that.
Fouls on Riverview's number 23, London Sexton. That is his first personal foul of the game. London also being another guy that stepped up. He was probably mid-rotation last year, and as a grade 11 was told to step up and be a key scorer for them.
Dale drains another 3.
There's that pressure you're just talking about, making it hard on the Riverview to get even in a set, let alone get a shot off.
Yeah, well, I'm with you. I think Riverview probably has one of the longer teams in terms of their starting 5 in the province, yeah? And they're athletic. Millwood are deep, and they may not have quite the head height, but they've got some length and athleticism. That one missed by Victoria and Oliver. Got good penetration, but a little over-penetrated.
Patty going a little bit too fast right now. He keeps losing the ball as he's trying to get to the rim. Just not used to someone being able to keep up with him defensively.
Yeah, well, as the game goes on, his adjustment, I think, should be to get the entry a little earlier so that he doesn't kind of get in the midst of that double and triple teaming pressure at the top. And then he's kind of surrounded by long, quick hands. Long, quick arms and hands, and so the entry becomes difficult. He gets a little easier earlier entry to his guys, gets things flowing, then I think, the offense will begin to go a little easier for Riverview. For sure. We have a run by Millwood. It's 18-11, and timeout, I presume, by Riverview.
Yeah, they call timeout. We are back after the timeout. Minute 46 left in the quarter, with Millwood now leading by 7. Going on a little run there at the end, mainly because of Ben Dale. Can you speak more on Ben Dale? You probably have seen him much more than I have.
As I mentioned to you, he can score from pretty much how and anywhere you want someone to score from. Now notice that Millwood came out and showed that 1-2, 1-1 pressure. Riverview did a good job breaking it. Probably a foul coming there. A little too much SWAT.
Millwood's number 3, Victoria and Oliver.
Yep. Now on that one, he had pretty good defensive position. If you don't break that plane, it becomes a good defensive position. If you do break the plane, you're almost automatically going to hear a whistle.
And it was good. He went up right away, but then as he saw that he could get the block, he just cocked it back and tried to block it. And not necessarily foul there, but.
Oh, it was a foul. But once you do that SWAT, it's going to be a foul.
Yeah.
makes one out of them, so we got 18-12.
ET went 1 for 2 from the line. I would like to speak on Riverview's number 14, Elliott Todd.
Now notice the action there at the top, Logan. That was a staggered screen. The lower of the tube is a three-point shooter, Tyler Mulvey, who then pops off the top of the screen after the ball goes by, and it becomes an open three for him. So it's a staggered ball screen, but then the lowest guy in the stagger pops, and he's got the three on the kickback.
Yeah.
21 and 14.
And Mulvey, that was a very deep three by him. Like, that was really showing off that shooting capability that he has.
If you're not playing against him, he's fun to watch.
Oh. Quick steal and a layup for Victoria and Oliver.
And that's an example of the quick hands and feet I was talking about earlier. Here's the pressure. It's more of a 1-2-2 in this one. But
and a
tough take.
That is a very tough take. Over Timmons, too. That links, man. It's not easy.
Overshot. Good job staying with it. Riverview took immediate advantage of the poor transition after that and had an open thing, overshot it, but stayed around for two more boards and got the second putback.
And that'll end the first quarter, 25-16 for the Knights. This started off as a very neck-and-neck game, being 11-11. And then the Knights just went on a 14-5 run in like the last 3 minutes of gameplay. Part
of the key is pace. You tell me, but in talking to the Riverview coaches, they indicated they prefer to have kind of a patient offense, kind of read the D, see what kind of attack is most appropriate. Millwood definitely wants to speed it up. And when they speed it up, the depth of their athletic quickness comes into play.
100%. Millwood is an extremely athletic and fast team, so if they can get those quick steals, their best option is to go and run out on the break before Riverview size can get back and into the paint to even have a chance at blocking those shots.
Yeah. Although, again, credit to Riverview when Oliver had that very tough off-balance layup that he made, and the Millwood kids sort of accelerated for half a second. Riverview immediately went long over the top for the open layup in transition. They got a little overexcited, missed it, but then they stayed with it for two putbacks and made the second one. So credit them as well.
No, for sure. Riverview doesn't always like to break and go fast, mainly because with their players, they are very smart. They're high IQ players, so they're going to try and they'd rather get in those sets where they can make those passes, actually look and see what the defense gives them instead of just trying to outspeed their opponents.
So part of the battle we'll be seeing in the next three quarters then is who can control the tempo and get the tempo they want.
100%. That will probably be the biggest factor into this game. Number 11, Ty McPhee, subs in for the Ravens. And number 9, Fabian Colley, and number 4, Jake Darling, both came back in for the Knights.
And Elliott Todd, 14, in for Riverview as well?
He was in there at the end of the first.
He's
a player, I'll tell you. He started off the year not knowing what his role would be and has filled in greatly. He's a grade 11 player, and he was kind of like seeing inconsistent playing time, but over probably the last 2 or 3 weeks going into Provincials, he's been their main bench guy, and often when the offense sputters, he'll come in and he'll get you 4-6 points. We saw there only in like 2 minutes of play, he had 3 quick points for them when they had not scored in 2 or 3 minutes after hitting 11.
Riverview are getting good looks, and they're getting a lot of second, third, fourth opportunities. I believe that was literally a 5th opportunity.
It was. The shots aren't falling right now, but they will hopefully eventually. The big thing is you got to stay consistent and focus on those boards.
If they continue to control the old boards that way, that alone can keep them in the game and eventually may lead to foul problems for the defensive team.
Oh, for sure.
Dale kicking out to Flint, who knocks down the 3. Millwood has a number of kids who can knock down the 3. There's a little sort of a game-to-game as to which of their crew are knocking them down. Dale very consistently does. Darling is probably their second most consistent three-point shooter.
Yeah, no. And when you have this many shooters, it's hard to pin, all right, who's going to get hot this game? Who's going to not be hitting and looking to pass to open guys? It'll be hard for the Ravens to figure out who's going to be hot tonight.
And there's Todd doing what you indicated. He got himself in a nice position. Couldn't quite finish it, but got into a good spot. There's the high ball screen with Colley.
Dale shot just off the mark, but that could have went very
He missed
bad
that
for
one,
the
but you don't want to give him too many of those. He can definitely knock that down on the pull-up and step back as well.
Oh, for sure. You don't want to consistently give him that good of a shot.
More great work on the boards, this time by Luke Timmons.
Yep.
Riverview literally right now are keeping themselves in this game with their offensive rebounding.
That's what it's going to come down to, and that's the other thing. It will come down to who can keep the tempo, but it'll come down to if Millwood's hitting their shots and if Ravens can control the offensive boards to get the shots they need to keep up.
Yeah, and there's Aaron Forrest, who again can knock down the three. The Riverview will have to adjust and get out on the three-point shooters a little better than they have thus far.
Millwood basketball.
Ty McPhee for Riverview. Penetration, lost the handle. So is Riverview going a little bit deeper already than they typically do, Logan, or not?
A little bit deeper than usual, I would say, yes. Typically, you'll see Ty McPhee and Elliot Todd plays a good amount, but they typically run 6 early. Peter, it depends kind of on what they're running. If they're playing a faster team, then this is not uncommon where you see Peter coming in earlier, who's a pretty fast and big guard.
Yeah.
It's not weird to see him in this early in the game.
That went in and out. It was a tough break, but it was very nicely set up by McCormick. He's done some very nice transition setups for his teammates already in this game.
Yeah, and that was a dime by Darling to Fabian. The Ravens have to make sure, and what I've noticed is when they get hit with those screens, they're losing and they're not realizing when to swap and when not to swap, and they're getting Millwood's getting a lot of open looks. Ravens got to figure that out.
I mentioned Millwood runs a lot of offense and a lot of multiple screen action on and off the ball.
Yeah, and that's something the Ravens haven't really played, as there's not a ton of teams that run specific screen offenses.
More real good ball penetration, kick, pass, and Forrest drains another three. A lot of ball pressure up top right now. And unsurprisingly, the starting point guard coming back in the game for Riverview. Coaches want to get this thing settled down and withstand the surge of the pressure up top.
For sure. Vendale running into the paint.
Little bit off balance on that one. Here comes Patty Campbell. Nicely done.
And that is why Patty has to be in the game, because yes, he can lose control, but he can go from 0 to 100 right away, and as we saw, grab the rebound and just full court end to end.
Yeah, certainly shifted gears nicely on that take. Full court take, got the foul, and will be on the line for an and one.
Timeout was called by the Millwood Knights. They still lead the Ravens by 14 with 6:15 left in the quarter.
I'm just going to check into the table and find out who those fouls were on. Two, but Patty's on the line to possibly bring this to a 36-23, and thus far in this quarter, both the the team fouls that have occurred have been against Millwood, which can become a factor depending on what happens over the next 6:15. A little long, but almost got the second shot.
Fabian able to pop that out of McCormick's hands. Good job by him.
Flint gets good, solid, imbalanced penetration.
What a take by Flint there. Being able to finish over him, giving up a lot of height and a lot of length to them, but still doesn't matter. He finishes through it.
Okay, we got Shane Lucas. I'm not sure, has Shane been in thus far today? I don't think he has. Shane Lucas, another athletic, quick kid. I believe he's a grade 10. And Darling coming back off and being so what right now? We've got Colley, Flint, Forrest, Lucas, and Oliver for Millwood.
Timmons able to get a quick foul there. Lucas subbed in and picked up his first of the game. Timmons will go to the line for 2.
Didn't catch who that foul was on, did you?
That was on Shane Lucas, number 2.
On Shane? Okay. That's his first, but the team third foul this quarter. Lots of time in the quarter, so if Riverview continues to slam on and pound the old boards, they may find themselves in the bonus here.
Very, very well. Timmons able to hit them both. Big thing is here, Luke Timmons, number 3. Not a ton of exposure compared to some of the other guys, but as a grade 11 last year, he won a co-MVP for the team along with former Raven number 7, Ryan Wadden. So he'll be another big factor into this game.
There's Colley with a putback. And immediately up front to Patty Campbell. So there's that transition where Millwood's going to have to get better at their defensive transition, take away those quick early looks. But down here we have Millwood again getting a real quick coup. The tempo thing right now is probably going more toward how Millwood wants to play.
Yeah, no, for sure. Millwood is controlling the tempo. They gave up that bucket, but they would rather get out and run. Fabian there, again, showing his speed and length, being able to get that ball.
Colley puts it away down at this end, and in attempting to go long, I think the intended receiver wasn't aware that the pass was coming to him, or they could have had another open look in transition.
No, it did not appear like Nick was aware that the pass was coming to him. Number 14, Elliot Todd, and number 7, Hayden McLean, subbing for the Ravens.
So with 5 to go, we now got an 18-point gap here. Riverview will have to try to pick away at this. Part of how they're going to have to do that, Logan, they're going to have to do a better job defending the penetration. At this stage of the game, Millwood are getting far too many easy penetration inbalance opportunities.
For sure, and I think that's one of the reasons why you see number 7, Hayden McLean, out there for the Ravens. Not a guy that has played a ton this season, inconsistent playing time.
But speaking of good inbalance penetration, Patty Campbell comes back and gets 2 for Riverview.
Great take by Patty. But Hayden is a fairly athletic, or probably around 6 foot, very athletic, very strong. I think they're trying to get him out there to hopefully help some of that penetration so he can help if someone else gets beat.
Again, too easy.
Fouls on Riverview's number 4.
Is that McCormick's first, I believe?
That is his first foul of the game and first team foul scored for the Ravens. Ravens have done a very good job not committing any fouls so far this game, only having 4 team fouls so far.
They are, however, going to have to do a better job of stopping the penetration. Because if that penetration continues, that's one of the ways that fouls do occur, right? Because then the recovery is late and away you go.
Oh, definitely.
Uh-oh. Nicely done. Campbell lost the handle there, but they got it back, and then he did a nice dish there to his teammate for the open layup on the 2-on-1. The intention there wasn't bad, but Lucas has got to take a little bit off that pass. A little too much, too close on that.
You know, when you're there and you're 2 feet apart, you got to give it a little bit right idea, even with the pass motion going between the two players, but it can't be whipped that far when Reese is right next to him.
Attempt by McCormick. The underappreciated aspect of a proper pass, you've got location, timing, etc. The other one is touch. You've got to adjust your velocity to the situation.
Is
that on McCormick as well?
That was another foul.
That's his second foul.
Yeah. A little bit frustrated coming off the court there. Number 3, Luke Timmons replacing him. Oh.
Nicely done.
Here we go. Oh.
Okay, well, you got bailed out, but in this one, you're trailing by 15. Make the basket. Yes, a dunk can have an emotional impact, but make the basket.
It's a big thing. And that's a dunk that Timmons does pretty consistently. He'll get on the break, just go 1, 2, and up. Definitely not dealing weird. They didn't.
Very nice steal at the top, by the way, to get himself that opportunity.
Oh, 100%. Elliott Todd getting fouled on his way to the rim.
Okay, nice long step, and I believe that's Oliver's second personal. And we are 1 away from the bonus now for Riverview with 3:05 left in the quarter.
It would be big if they could get some more fouls committed against them. Just keep trying to get a couple of their other main players in foul trouble before the end.
The other factor is becoming a little bit of a problem for them, though, is they're only coming away with 1 out of 2. If they want to get back into this and they're going to get on the line consistently as they are, they've got to hit a higher percentage.
They do. Ravens only trail by 12 now as the Knights take up the ball. Another three-pointer for
dribble
this
weave
Millwood.
action to the top, and Tyler Mulvey, as I mentioned, is one of their many three-point shooters. Good take, gets it back, but
appears the Ravens have nerves as they're struggling to finish around the rim, which is typically the best part of their game, is finishing at the rim.
Well, they're rushing themselves just a little bit, and I suspect that has to do with the quickness. Nice take and a strong finish.
There you go, Patty again. He is, although he's a grade 10, he is potentially the main motor of this team. He's just constant energy, never give up, and a fierce competitor.
And I believe that's the second personal on Shane Lucas, and Riverview are going to now be in the bonus.
That's big for them. 2:30 on the clock right now. Still a good chance to get a couple more fouls committed against him and get some more.
And he does knock it down, so good. Brings it to 10.
Great pass. Hold on. Problem Ravens seem to be having right now is they went from getting every rebound to now missing every rebound.
Yeah, well, again, defensively, they're allowing too much penetration. Shane Lucas that time gets it. First, they got it back on a nice tip-out rebound by Andre Chicato, I believe it is. Then Shane at the top was able to get first step too readily, get into the heart of the defense, and was able to finish the thing. If Riverview first they've got to continue to pound the O boards. They've got to start making a higher percentage of their free throws because they're going to get them. And down here, they've got to keep the ball in front of them. If they can do a better job of keeping the ball in front of them and keeping Millwood off their O boards, they can crawl back into this, as actually they did start to do. Millwood are going a little deeper in their bench than even they typically do. But at the same time, what Riverview has to do is take advantage of that.
Riverview does, and I find Riverview's kind of, not to the same extent I'm assuming Millwood is, but Riverview's also going a bit deeper in the bench. But I think that's more to find guys that are ready to compete, are ready to hustle and make sure there are guys in front of them. They're just trying different things to stop the Millwood three-pointers.
Yeah, as I say, you've seen them more than I have, but certainly their starting five are a nice, solid starting five. Got good length, got some athleticism, got an array of ways to score. The quickness is affecting them somewhat, I do believe.
An extremely solid starting lineup here. And we haven't even seen much. Number 23 there, London Sexton. Probably one of the better shooters, if not the best shooter on Cape Breton Island. Has not hit a three, or I don't even know if he's made a shot yet this game. Millwood's defenders just not
Okay,
giving
they're
him
the
any room to shoot it.
1-2-2 half court. Really, they didn't trap it. They just kind of showed some pressure, and the turnover happened. So now we got the dribble weave and reversal action. That one's off. Cleaned, and we'll see what Riverview can get out of this possession and the remaining 1.5. Good look.
Oh.
Well done.
Great pass there by Riverview's number 14, Elliot Todd, to Hayden McLean.
Yeah, Elliot Todd, nice job of finding Hayden on that. Got the 2-on-1, and defender committed to him, and he found his teammate. With touch, I might add. Dale found Melvey underneath, but he's a little too far under. Couldn't quite complete it. And now we got a jump ball, and it will be Riverview ball. It's 10 points again, so 10 is, within reach. 10 is where you want to be. Now they can get this thing to single digits, and the halftime becomes more interesting.
We can finally see Riverview in response to now realizing, all right, they're pressing. They actually brought out their proper press break with the one inbounder, 2 around the free throw line.
Nice kick and an open look. Luke Timmons knocks it down for Riverview, and now we're at 7.
Big 3 for Timmons there. The Ravens needed that, and now Millwood's got a little bit more on their toes than they probably thought they were going to have to be this game.
But Dale gets too easy penetration, and again, he's one of the better finishers I've seen in the province.
Fouls on Riverview's number 9, Patty. It's his second personal foul. A lot of subs coming in between the Millwood Knights and the Ravens.
Yeah, coaches don't want to take a chance of him getting in third in this last portion of a minute here. And we're back to 10. Here's the 1-2. This is the diamond now. They're matching the middle more than with. You'll notice with the 1-2-2, they kind of they kind of match in that, right? But when they go to the diamond, they take away your middle post-up guy. Timeout called by Millwood with shot clock showing 24. Might that go down to 14?
They may try and advance it here just to try and.
Yeah, they're trying to get something set up to get the last shot. And so, Riverview has done a nice job of creeping back into it. Millwood, I think, took the advantage of having the big lead to get all of their kids out there. But at the same time, Riverview did take advantage of that, and now they're back in the game. And as you say, they're going a little bit deeper in their bench than you're used to seeing them do. Part of the question is, will they be able to do a better job defending the dribble penetration? And they've got to close out on the three-point shooters a little bit better than they have. They're doing a pretty good job at on the boards at both ends. They're doing a very good job, Riverview is, on their old boards. And that, I continue to think, that and some of the penetration they got in transition has been what's keeping them in the game here.
I think you're 100% right. That is definitely what's keeping them in this game. And the thing with Riverview's bench is that as they go deeper in the bench, they start to lose that size and length fairly quickly, but they start making up for it as they have more speed on their bench. So you could see like a number 10 in Peter and a number 7 in Hayden. They aren't as long and athletic as some of their starters, but they have a faster first step. See Peter being able to stay around Ben Dale and giving him no space.
Open look for Flint, but that was more fortune than fame. But it counts, 3.
I think now I heard him call bank.
No one ever calls bank on that one, except after when they go to collect.
1.7 left on the clock. Will the Ravens be able to get a shot off? Peter open.
They'll get the look.
Wide open.
Yeah.
Good attempt. Millwood Knights will lead the Ravens 56-43 with 1 half left to go between the number 2 and the number 7 seed.
Speaking of banks, by the way, you're way too young for this, but when I was a young person, there's a guy named Sam Jones who played he and K.C. Jones, not related, played in the backcourt for the Boston Celtics. They were perennial champions because that was the Bill Russell years. Sam Jones was probably still one of the greatest bank shot jump shooters in the history of the NBA.
I did not know that. I knew Sam Jones was a great player, being a multi-time All-Star, multi-time champion, and K.C. Jones being a great player on and off the court, also being a multi-time championship coach with the Larry Bird, Robert Perry Celtics.
K.C. brought the D, and Sam brought the O.
All right, we'll be back after halftime. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Because we can do a quick summary of the major scoring in the first half, Logan. We had for Riverview, Patty Campbell had 13, Luke Timmons had 9, McCormick had 6, Elliot Todd had 5, and several guys had 2. For Millwood, Bendale had 19, Jaqueen Flint had 10, Fabian Colley 8, and Aaron Forrest and Tyler Mulvey each had 6. The big thing is that Millwood as a team had 4 guys who had made 2 threes. So Riverview's got to get out and shut that one down and prevent the penetration that leads to those open looks.
100%. They got to get out and contest those threes. The other big thing is they have to do a better job at slowing down Bendale. They cannot allow him to have another 20-point half again.
Yeah. Remember I mentioned you earlier in the game, he and Fabian Colley are the 2 keys to their team. Fabian more on the defensive side of the ball. Bendale is a big-time, multifaceted scorer and assist guy for Millwood on the other end.
For sure. And on the Riverview side, Patty having a good first half, and same with Timmons. But Rory McCormick will have to get going a little bit more, as they typically are hoping for at least 20 points from him, especially in a game like this.
I did think Patty made a nice adjustment to the quickness and started to get better penetration as the game went on. See, I think he was a little tentative early, but he picked up the intensity quite a bit. Nicely done, but
a bit too late there on the pass.
Riverview really wants to finish those. That's pretty good interior position. Take your time, get positioning, finish that thing.
For sure, and they also have to decide if they're going to run it, or just stay back and set, where they kind of hesitated there on the pass. It caused them missing the shot.
Good overplay by McCormick. So they're working hard to deny the return pass to Dale at the top. Step back.
It's back-to-back air balls for the Knights. Oh.
Okay, got a shot clock violation. Yep. Little known fact, by the way, air balls tend to favor the O on the rebounder.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Watch, you'll see. Offense will get most air balls in the rebound.
I'll start paying more attention to that on the air balls. But Ravens definitely doing a good job by forcing 2 air balls to start the game.
Not a bad look. Good find by Dale, but Darling misses the open 3. He can knock that down, so we're going to have to close out harder on those.
For sure.
Got a 4 high here for Riverview.
Still no buckets by either team so far this game as Reese takes it up.
Lucas back to Colley, reverse Dale to Darling. You'll notice that Millwood consistently gets a lot of rapid ball reversal. Another open look, in and out.
Another miss, but the playmaking there is beautiful, reminding me of those championship Spur teams that won. Even though some of them could have had that open shot, they just kept passing to find the best shot possible.
That's pretty much signature of how Millwood team plays offense. They move the players a lot. They do a lot of off ball and on ball screen action, and the ball moves. The ball moves.
Riverview making a quick sub, already subbing in Ty McPhee, not even 3 minutes into the quarter.
Yep. Both teams have had good looks. Not dropping yet.
Nope. Ice cold start to the half, but no, both teams having the opportunities to score.
Nice cut.
McCormick draws the foul.
On Oliver, or not, sorry. Yes, Reese Oliver. Okay.
McCormick makes the first one.
That was a nice slash cut through by McCormick, and Timmons did a nice job of finding him.
Great connection between the two.
And he knocks down both.
Both have been on this team since they were freshmen, so they really have that connection at this point.
Open look for Forrest, and one positive thing from the Riverview point of view is that Millwood's three-point shooting so far has cooled off quite a bit from the first half.
For sure. At the beginning of the game, I would predict they're probably shooting somewhere around 70 or 80, down to haven't hit a three yet.
And Timmons looked nice and smooth on that one.
It was a big three there for Timmons, cutting the lead to only 14 points.
I think they put that up on the wrong side. And there's a putback by Oliver. Nice dish. But
McCormick
nice
with a giant play there, big and one. And that caused the Millwood Knights to call timeout.
Yeah, Millwood senses the momentum change. Actually, they put the score up on the wrong side initially, but Timmons' three brought the thing to 8. And now with that nice transition take, Millwood had the fairly easy 3 down there, or 2, back door. But now with a nice transition take, easy early penetration, got the finish and got hit, Millwood wants to shut that down immediately. So that's why they're taking the timeout. Riverview, on the other hand, had a lot of positive stuff to say to their kids right now.
For sure. And Riverview's going to keep just telling them basically, keep doing what you're doing great. And I also think Millwood is, the players at least, maybe not the coaches, are potentially a little bit shocked by this, where it was such an easy win for them only around a month ago, and now having a 9-point game.
Yeah, there are 2 words that journalists use a lot, stunned and shocked, but they never interview the person they're describing as that. So I never attribute either of those things to anybody without talking to them first. My guess is, and you're right, players being young and less experienced than coaches are never quite as aware of the possibilities negatively that could arise in these contests. But, the way they opened the game, they certainly taking Riverview very seriously. It was a nice, hard-fought, back-and-forth game both sides. I think they've cooled off from 3, and part of the thing that Coach Cole is talking about there is let's get our transition together. Let's get our crispness back into our game here. And as you said, with Riverview, it's, yes, you keep the intensity up, continue to crash the boards if necessary. The ball is moving better. The flow of the initial take by Riverview now is looking better, which is why more of the first shots are going in. And he knocks down that one, so we got an 8-point game.
Once again showing off the pressure, making sure Bendale is not going to get the ball easily.
Well, they're conscious of not of denying the ball back to Dale, but also I think they're just generally doing a better job shooting the gap in the passing lanes. And there's an unforced error. Colley caught it a little bit off balance. He knew he was off balance. Darling was not looking at the situation, and so didn't see the pass coming back.
And if you're the Ravens, that's exactly what you want to see them doing. You want to see those miscommunications that you can potentially capitalize on.
Well, let's see what happens with this possession. Kind of got a little jammed by just inadvertent traffic there.
Yeah. And
Open
Darling
look.
delivers from deep off the dime from Dale.
Now Riverview, they're playing more of a 2-3-ish zone-like D now, and that's enabling them to do a better job shooting the gaps. So far, that hasn't hurt them too much with penetration, but Darling, that's the first open look 3 Millwood has hit this half, so we'll see what happens. There's a pretty good look.
And Riverview answers right back with the 3-pointer of their own. There we see that what I was talking about earlier, where McCormick, even though he's like a very big and lengthy player, he can't hit the 3-ball.
You had noted that earlier, yeah. And the big thing that I see is just the offensive rhythm as a team for Riverview is much better this quarter than it was in either of the first two.
I 100% agree with you with that. And another offensive rebound.
Nice take by Campbell, shot block by Colley, but the follow-up and the putback by Nathaniel Robinson. Never assume your teammate's going to make the layup. Always be there to get the board.
I was taught quite the opposite. Assume your teammate misses, and if they make it, just that's all the better.
Got the charge call.
That is Patty's
Okay,
third
that's Patty's
foul of the
third.
game.
Darling steps in there and takes that. We'll see how momentous that becomes. But Riverview has definitely made this a game, 61-55. Lots of time left in the quarter and certainly lots of time left in the game. Now, will Patty having to come out for a minute, how will that affect their team momentum? Because as I said, you know this, the intensity has been great, both ends, but the offensive flow is much better. Oliver knocks down a 3.
Big 3 by him. The Knights really needed something to go there, and they big 3 time there.
Nice find. Overshoots it, but gets it back.
Big put back there by Fabian.
Riverview was looking to go long against that, but Oliver hustled back and picked it off.
That foul is on Riverview's number 3, Luke Timmons.
That's his second, I believe, yep. Now that's good timeout, this time Mo timeout by Riverview because that flurry of activity favored Millwood big time. We had gotten it to 61-55. That's a 7-0 run in a very short period of time. So Riverview now want to take a kind of regroup. And remember, part of it was when Patty got the charge call there. That in itself is big, Mo, because it's 3 on him. He's got to come out. Suddenly things shifted really quick, right? So good timeout. Got to make some adjustments, get that offensive flow back, and again, defensively, we've got to continue. Now they're starting to hit some threes. We've got to close out harder on those, take those away, run them off the 3. Does any of that make sense to you?
Yeah.
But again, you know this. Basketball is a game of runs. Riverview made a nice run to open the quarter. Got it back, you know, it's a game, right, 61-55. But then that one foul. Idea by McCormick, not bad. But again, how quickly Millwood turns that into a layup at the other end.
No.
And now we've got little gap shoot, but Todd, you were quite correct. He's been a great hustle guy for Riverview every minute he's been on the court today. Did a lot of nice stuff off the ball, really shooting gaps, working hard, recovering. Just a good hustle guy.
100%. No, and that's, as you said earlier, Millwood is a very big transition team, and Riverview at the start of the court was using Millwood's play style against them and what tempo that Millwood wanted, Riverview's using against them. But after the Millwood coaches called timeout, they're like, they want to play our game, so let's play our game. And since then, they're getting a lot of transition buckets.
Yeah. Yeah, at this point, one of the big decisions the Riverview coaches have to make is, do we get Patty back in the game? Because 3 minutes left in this quarter, got a full fourth quarter, but we don't want that gap to get too big. We've got to score some. We haven't scored, if I'm Riverview, 61-55 to 74-55. So if I'm Riverview, I'm saying, hey, we've got to figure out how to get some O back.
No, for sure. And the other thing is, even without his offense or him bringing up the ball against his press, it's also involving with the defense he had against Bandale. Bandale had not scored while Patty was out, and since coming out, I would say Ben probably has 5 or 7 points.
Yeah, although a lot of the points for Millwood now are, although Flint just hit a nice pullback three, very smooth at the top. But the points now are coming off their transition against the failed Riverview O, right? When Riverview wasn't failing, they got to play better D. And now what's happening is a lot of turnovers, a lot of soft passes that are kind of errant. So again, I think a big decision for the Riverview guys right now is, do we get Patty back in the game and see if we can solidify this? Because the margin is now 22, and if he knocks this one down, we're gone to 23.
No, for sure. That's definitely something they're going to have to debate. And although he does have 3 fouls, it's late third.
Well, yeah, and again, it's always a big decision for coaches, and every coach knows their player is better. But if the worry is that if he fouls out, you won't be able to be on the court, and if you keep him off the court too long, that can hurt you.
100%.
We're at 24.
Fabian.
Colley, long hands, quick hands, long arms, quick hands. Rapid transition.
And you brought that up, how Fabian really is the defensive leader there, making another big defensive stop for them.
Fabian Colley, literally as a defender, can change games.
100%.
Nicely done. So that's the first hoop for Riverview in a long time.
It is. Their offense was humming like a fine engine and has been putting for a while now.
A little bit off balance on that take by, got away with a little contact.
Miscommunication there on the pass.
And a turnover. Okay, sub coming on for Riverview. No? Okay. So with 124 to go in this quarter, Logan, we've got a 24 margin, and as you say, Millwood are now kind of cooking. So Riverview, again, they're trying different kinds of things. What can we do to change this momentum?
100%. And when I looked over to see who was subbing in for the Riverview Ravens, I noticed that Patty now has a wrap on his hand. So I'm wondering if part of the reason he hasn't, he's had a continuous hand problem since the very beginning of the year.
Okay.
I'm wondering if that has potentially gotten a little bit sore, and now it's like we are down by this much. We were down by 26. It is more important for Patty to be ready next game than to risk him really hurting it and being out all weekend.
Yep, great point, and great pickup on that. Yeah, because that explains a lot, because I got to believe that normally they would have him back in the game quicker.
Riverview advancing the ball, hoping to get something else to fall. There we go.
Yeah, and actually, by looking at who is on the court for Riverview, my guess is you're absolutely correct about what's happening right now.
I would say, yes, they're probably trying to, as I'm looking at with you, it's 2 starters, they're 6-man, but then Ty and Hayden are both middle to the backer end of their rotation.
Yeah. By the way, what we just saw was kind of signature Ben Dale. Penetrates, stays down. I call it stay down, play down. He's under control. He's in balance. He slows the game down for himself. Got there, pivoted a couple of times. Defender relaxed, steps through, easy layup. Most kids will rush themselves when they get in the paint and will tend to miss, overshoot, undershoot, whatever. They'll be off balance. But it isn't the defense making them do that. It's their minds, right? This kid has a very slow, in baseball they talk about slowing the game down for yourself at the plate. In basketball, it's in the paint. If you get in the paint and slow the game down for yourself, slow heartbeat, you're going to become a much better finisher. And Dale is kind of a great example of that.
He really is. Just some of the moves he's made today are just otherworldly, and you really don't see them that often.
No, because most kids, there's a reason most kids aren't great finishers, because of what I just said. They kind of do themselves in. Dale does you in.
kind of start up the fourth quarter. Apparently, score was a little bit off on the thing, just fixed up. Ravens actually trailed by 24.
Yeah, well, again, it was 61-55, and then it was basically a 24-6 run. It was a 20-0 run, actually, then 24-6 to finish out the quarter. But basketball's a game of runs, you know. And, again, you're picking up that thing on Patty's hand, I think explains a whole lot. Because Riverview was playing a much different offensive game than they had in the first half.
They had, and it worked for a while, but then when Millwood started to get going, they really didn't know how to slow them down again. But looking at the lineup right now, I would say the coaches are starting to look at resting potentially their players for the next game.
That's certainly what it appears to be, yeah. And you know, good idea, because, you know, you've got at least two more, and I think the way the formula works now, you got a shot to come back through for the bronze.
Yeah, 100%. Even if Riverview loses this game, if they win their next one, they will play in bronze semi. So they have a guaranteed 3, but they could play up to 4 games this weekend.
Yeah.
So it's not worth. Is it really worth risking injury or tying your guys out if you can't get it back?
Yeah, and really the tired out part may be more important right now even than the injury, because if they want to get back and have that shot, that's going to take 4 games. And 4 games is a lot of games.
It is a lot of games.
In 3 days. And Millwood has now gone deeper in their bench. They're giving some of their kids a chance who normally won't get a lot of minutes if the game stays that close.
Almost definitely. They're starting to think the same. They have, I believe, the winner of Citadel and North Dover tomorrow, 2 very good teams.
Yeah, 2-3 matchups, so yeah.
So they're going to want to have their players rested for the game. Big block there by Hayden.
Coach Cole from Millwood calling timeout. Basically what's happening there is, yes, he's got kids in who don't play as often or as many minutes as the other kids who we've seen most of earlier in this game. That doesn't mean you're going to be allowed to change the way we play. So he's making an adjustment on it, mentally on that one.
100%. Even if they have guys that don't get in, that doesn't mean their scheme changes. They're still going to try and play to win. And you can't let them even start getting hope again and start cutting back at this lead to have a chance.
Yeah, and also, okay, you're in getting more minutes right now because of the time score situation, but we may need you in a different time score situation, and if we do, we want to be sure that you're going to play within the rhythm and the flow that our team always plays. For example, since this crew has been on, have we seen the great rapid ball reversal and movement of the ball that you commented on earlier? The answer is no. Okay, so we're getting away from, is what the Millwood coach is telling his kids, we're getting away from how we play.
100%.
And you will note what happened out of the timeout. Ball reversal, player movement, smooth, good team flow.
100%. You call that one. Instantly just saying, hey, even if you aren't high in the rotation this year, you'll probably be high in the rotation next year. We need you to play how we're going to play.
Okay, Flint was open ahead of the pack there, but Shane Lucas was kind of caught up in traffic, so couldn't get the eyes up soon enough to see him. Pressure.
Pass a little bit too high up.
They're going to retain possession, but they're fortunate because what pressure wants you to do is throw those long, potentially errant passes. Longer the ball's in the air, the longer chance the gap shooters have a chance to pick it off.
There we go, and there goes the last of the Riverview Ravens starters, and Luke Timmons now a full bench lineup, and all returners for next year having 3 11s and 2 10s on the court right now.
Yep, and I'm sure, you know, what we just said about the Millwood timeout, Coach Redshaw is looking for exactly the same kind of thing. Except with more immediacy, because as you say, some of these kids may be important to what happens over the next couple of days.
100%. And I should mention, Riverview is, although they are led heavily by their senior talent in number 2, Nate, number 2, Luke Timmons, or number 3, Luke Timmons, and number 4, Roy McCormick, they are a very young team, only having 3 seniors on the team and 5 grade 10s. They're a team that, yes, are winning now, but are also set up to win for the next few years.
Okay. And a very nice take by Flint there, got himself inside, didn't finish, but stayed down, just didn't quite cash in. But a nice take. Good pull up. What grade is Hayden in?
Yep.
What grade is he in?
He's a grade 11
Grade 11? Okay.
Yeah. No, Hayden, very solid player. This is honestly a battle of youth, as I believe every player out there outside of Jakai and Flint will be returning next year. This could be a very same matchup next year.
Okay, foul on Chicago, so that's his first. Yeah, Millwood they lost some key veterans from the last year's team. They were one of the strongest teams in Metro throughout the season. We're going to see CP Allen later on in the 4-5 game. CP Allen are 3-time defending champions, provincial champions, but the core of the kids who were in that championship core have graduated, so it's a very different, it's a transition year. And so the school are defending champions, but the teams wearing the uniform this year are primarily new to think. They've still done very well, finishing 4th in the city, and they're coming to this tournament ranked 5th in the province. So
100%. And for example, I did not see these teams last year at Provincials, but when Provincials were hosted by Riverview 2 years ago, I saw Donovan Reed and Rory play as 11s, and I saw the main of that CP Allen core of Mason and Walker and them. They were crazy talents, and these teams are still very good, but they are mainly newer guys that are taking up.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a transition year in the province, and interestingly on the girls' side, there's a lot of the better teams are really young this year in the province. But on the boys' side, we're going to see Armbray here next, and they're coming in ranked number 1, undefeated so far this season. They're very much a group that have paid their dues over the last couple of seasons and built. You know, they've thus far had a really strong season. And we talked about Millwood's quickness. In Armbray, you're going to see a lot of quickness throughout the lineup.
We'll be curious.
So we're hanging around at 23 here, and this is kind of typical of in this kind of a thing where both coaches are giving the kids who don't get as many minutes in the real tight possession games, they're giving them an opportunity to get out there. They do have high expectations for them still. They want them to play in the way that the style of play that we as a school, whether we're Millwood or Riverview, play. They want to represent, basically. So, and they're analyzing. As you say, they're looking at who, and in both cases really, who might be able to help us this weekend, and who will be able to, you know, what kinds of things do we have to work on to help each of these individuals improve for the next year and 2 in some of their cases.
100%. And Millwood, a little bit of a surprising look, comes out with their starting lineup to start this.
Yeah, interesting. Showed a 1-2-2 in that one.
Riverview also went.
It's not quite the starting lineup. It's what they've done is add 3 of the starters to Chicado and Mulvey. But Dale, Cawley, and Darling are starters. And it may be just to kind of keep them a little bit of, keep the sweat up a little bit, you know. Again, every coach knows their own team and is trying to do certain things to better their team today and tomorrow.
100%.
Nice, smooth 3.
Great shot there by E.T. And now Riverview seems to went in the opposite direction as they have, as you know, Riverview, their 3 bigs in that starting lineup are all graduating. So this is their future size with number 5, Cal McCormick, the younger brother of Rory McCormick in grade 10.
Okay.
And also Riverview legend that plays at CBU currently, Anthony Leckie, his younger brother, number 12, Lucas Leckie there as well.
All right.
So I have a couple family connections on the team this year.
Well, and Darling, as you probably are aware, has a fairly famous older connection, his brother Nate, who's been in and out of the NBA.
Oh, no, a crazy connection.
And what people don't know is their dad was a very, very good athlete from New Brunswick, played for Kennebec-Hastings Valley and then New Brunswick Provincial, and had a great career at St. Mary's.
I should ask, what grade is Jake in anyway? Is he a senior this year or is he a grade 11?
I think Jake's grade 11.
Look at him. And he'll definitely be a giant part of this team next year.
Yeah, I think the seniors, both Dale and Cawley are seniors, and I believe Flint is a senior. Yeah, sorry, the program doesn't have the grades, but I did kind of go through everything, and I'm pretty sure that Flint's a senior. I know that Fabian and Ben are both seniors. And you're very familiar with the Riverview kids who are seniors.
Very much. So these will be 2 teams that I would hope and probably assume that will both be in provincials next year, but they will probably be led by new faces compared to this year.
Now, in their region, did Riverview have any kind of real close comp coming down the stretch?
They had one, the Breton Education Center Bears, that they were a D2 team and moved up to Division 1. They were led by a group of exchange students that came, and also one of the, I don't know if you know them, Atlantic Canada Exposures, one of their top 20 kids in the class of 2026, Jackson Durando. He was a big player this summer on the Nova Scotia U17 team where he played up in age group.
Okay. And he was at Breton Education this year.
He was at Breton Education. They were a very solid team. I thought they may have they had a chance to make provincials, but they drew CP Allen, which was just too much for them. I believe it was around a 50-point win or 40-point win for CP Allen.
Nice driving kick. And gets the 3 in the rhythm of the T-Mo.
Yeah. Once again, Millwood just making sure that they play their way, making sure that even though we're up by this much, we want to not change our play style. This is how we win.
Yep. And, you know, it's evident to us, but anybody watching, both coaching staffs are continuing to coach. Okay, nobody's taking this off. They're working hard. Okay, they're not coaching the scoreboard at this point. They're coaching the kids wearing the uniforms and their program.
100%. I thought had a good take to the rim. He's going to the line to hopefully convert on his and one play, which he cannot.
Nice find by Oliver. A little bit overshot by Sampson. Now, one of the things that's making it a little tougher for Riverview in that, although they ended up being patient and getting a pretty good look, their spacing has gotten a little tighter than the coaches will want it to be. Pressure up top. Now the passing lane pressure will increase. Getting lower on the clock. There's a good opportunity.
Good attempt there by Elliott, not able to get it to fall.
Okay, winding down here. This is going to end somewhere around the 20 plus margin. And Millwood are going to dribble out their shot clock and let Riverview have the last possession.
Not quite. I think
not quite the full
two
possession.
More possessions.
Yeah.
Ravens will take possession.
Yeah. So Riverview will now get the ball, and if Millwood gets it back, they'll probably dribble it out.
Most likely. Ravens are doing the same. That will end this game. The number 2 seeded Knight take out the number 7 seeded Riverview Ravens 101-78. The Millwood Knights will go on to take on the winner of the Citadel North Nova matchup later tonight, and the Ravens will take on the losers.
Okay. And again, key moment from my perspective is when Patty took that third foul and may have been injured.
That
from
was
what you're saying.
That was a big factor. When he went out, the Knights went on a little bit of a run, probably about like 4 or 6, but as soon as he went out, it went from a little combination of points to a very large amount of points extremely quickly.
They were still there when he got hurt, or when he had to leave. But
and hopefully that decision will be worth it, as they will hope to win their next game and still do have a chance to play in a medal game.
Okay, team shake hands and okay. So, player of the game. How's it?
Jakayan.
Okay, we're going to be talking about the players of the game here, I think. I'm not sure. Somebody from the school sport, I presume, is going to. Apparently there's nobody here from school sport Nova Scotia, although the Millwood coaches have let us know that their player of the game was Jakayan Flint. Oh, so sorry, I guess there is no player of the game. We already announced him. I did. But I may be breaking, but okay. I guess the protocol for the provincial may be slightly different from the protocol in some of the other tournaments. So both coaches and their teams were lined up waiting for some sort of ceremony or brief announcement. And we, of course, are here from Maritime Profiles. We're casting the game, but we have nothing to do with the organization, which is probably a good thing for the organization, I'm guessing. Certainly from my perspective. I won't speak for you, Logan.